Hare Krishna. Um, Please welcome to the interview for the Radhastami press program. Dear Nomsa, my Vaishnavi of choice. Let us pay our obeisances to Srila Prabhupada first so that our thing goes right. So, Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Vitale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitanamini. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesa Sunyavari Paskachate Satharini. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Kadadara Shiva Saripur Bhakta. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So thank you so much for doing this for me. When everyone else dropped me, you stepped in, my beautiful Vaishnavi. You said, I'll do it. So I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. And I'd like you to know why I appreciate you being my Vaishnavi of choice. You know, Nomsa, you are junior to me in many ways. But you are very advanced. You are somebody that takes this more serious, maybe probably than I do. You're doing great services for Srila Prabhupada. And I think I've known you for 10 years. We met in the Soweto, I can't remember what was it, but something like connecting and stuff.
Something like family reunion, connecting, something like
family reunion. I even forgot that, yeah. And then you've been serving in BYS for quite some time now. So
serving at BYS from 2015.
So what services have you been doing for BYS and when did you start them? And how has it been going?
Hare Krishna, dear Vaishnavi. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. And thank you so much to Esther for considering me. I'm really excited about this. And I feel really honored to be part of this program and to be, here. There are so many people who are way more knowledgeable on this topic than myself. So just to be here, I feel incredibly humbled. So I just want to thank you for that and show my appreciation and gratitude for that. So I joined ISKCON via BYS Advits in 2013, and I became the BYS chairperson in 2015 and in 2016. But I continued my service at BYS until 2020 before the lockdown. And from the lockdown, then I started serving at VUSA. My main services at VUSA include hosting the Vaishnavis, the Heart to Heart Vaishnavi Sangha with Her Grace, Mother Vajalila. This is in conjunction with Inter-IFAST, the institute that was formed by His Holiness Bhakti Swami. So we host those classes, we have seminars, we have workshops. It's a very lovely Sangha with ladies, a very safe space, a very beautiful space that she's created alongside VUSA. And a lot of Vaishnavis have across the world. It just started as something for South African Vaishnavis. And now we have international. We had ladies from Australia who join in the early mornings, from Indonesia, from the UK. There's a lot from the UK, and of course from the US and South Africa, and a few from Kenya. And we have the most wonderful time sharing safe spaces as Vaishnavis in that Sangha. So it happens every Friday from 7 p.m. 6:30 South African time until 8 p.m. And then other service include reading of Krishna book. We do reading of Krishna book every Thursday. Also organize some of the BIS events that happen at the end of the month. WUSA events that happen at the end of the month, and we do them in collaboration with BIS Vids and BIS UJ. So those are including some of my services.
Thank you very much. So I trust that you have enough material to engage me on our Asthasakhi, who is Sudevi. So tell me, who is Sudevi and what have you found about her and what are we sharing about Sudevi today?
So I think like many Vaishnavis, I didn't have a lot of knowledge about Sudevi. And now I'm like, wow, what an amazing, well, all the Asthasakhis are amazing, but what an amazing personality. And also just understanding that all these personalities and all the gopis are there to encourage us and to show us, to demonstrate what it is like to love God, what it is like to love Krishna, what it is like to serve. So yeah, Sudevi Saki is, it's exciting. It's very wonderful. So she is the younger sister of Rangadevi. Although they're twins,
not a twin sister.
she's the twin sister, but I was about to get there. She's the younger sister. They're twin sisters. They're identical sisters, they're identical twins, but she's younger by just a couple of minutes or half a day. So it's mentioned by the acharyas, and depending what you read, like the Vrindavan Institute will say that it's by a couple of minutes, and by, if you read some of the other literature like the Srimad Bhagavatam, would be say half a day. So I also want to preface this by saying that this information is very intimate information. So it's not easily accessible to everyone. It's not easily accessible like all the other Vedas that we have, the Upanishads, and all the other literature that we come across, because this is Leela's pastimes with the gopis, who are his internal pleasure potency manifest. So to have access to such information, you really have to do a lot of work and really have to, find it. And also it depends on who you are and how it comes about. And I think it's protected because some of us don't have, at least I'll speak for myself, the maturity to understand what these leaders are about, and to see them not just as face value, like superficially, like these girls who are running after this boy Krishna, but far deeper, that these souls who are serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead and willing to risk it all just so the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the divine couple are happy, are served, and are pleased with their service. That's what they live for. That's their waking day, their sleeping night is all about Krishna and Radha's service. So it's very difficult to find information, and I want to preface that. I also want to show my gratitude and pay my obeisances to some of the devotees who I did borrow this information from, who I did look up and ask for help. So one of the devotees that I found was His Holiness Indrajumna Swami. He has a series about the Asthaksakis, and this is majority of this work comes from there. And he was citing the Vrindavan Institute the Vrindavan Research Institute. So I also want to pay my respectful obeisances to those devotees. Also to Savyasakshi Prabhu, who was helping me find some of the verses in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and who was also just explaining what I just explained, that this information is intimate. It's Krishna and his gopis. So just that understanding and that coaching, that you will find challenges in trying to find this information and trying to uncover this information, just because of how sweet it is and how easily it can be taken out of context, and how easily we could make offenses just by not understanding the depth of what we are finding about the gopis and what I'll be sharing. So please pardon all my offenses before I even start, just as a preface to what I'll be talking about. So like I mentioned, Sudevi and Rangadevi are twin sisters. They're identical twins, and it's mentioned sometimes that Krishna and Radharani will call Sudevi Rangadevi and Rangadevi Sudevi. But they do have differences. They have slight differences. So Rangadevi is described to be a dark color, the color of the lotus filament. If you see me reading, I'm looking down, I'm just looking at my notes. So pardon that if it is a little disturbing. I'm just looking down at my notes. So she's the color, Ranga Devi is the color of a lotus filament. She's that dark shade. And Sudevi is mentioned to be the color of black gold. And I was mentioning to Esther a couple of days ago that I didn't even know black gold was a thing, but it's an actual mineral. And it's so beautiful, so beautiful. I had to Google it, and I'm like, wow, there's such a thing as black gold. Like, you learn something new every day. And just doing this research has made me just discover that there's so much we don't know, so much we don't, even in the material world, so little that we know. And just learning that and seeing like how rich her color must have been. Oh, her color is, sorry, not past tense, but how rich her color is. Black gold. She's the color of black gold. And she wears a coral red clothing. So she's dressed in coral red. And her main service, her topmost service that she does, is Jal Seva. Jal Seva. So you might have heard of the Jal Leelas of Krishna as pastimes, the Krishna Jal Leelas, which is the pastimes of Krishna in water, either in Manasi Ganga or in the Yamuna. And this is where we see Sudevi really come out and do her service. This is her main service. Any service around water, the gopis, Krishna, she's there, and that's her main service.
Oh, sorry. And
Well, go ahead.
also, Sudevi is the last Astasaki in the
Yes.
Radharani cycle, and then she's the one that carries the flower basket in the Mayapur altar. Yeah,
Yes.
so I just thought that I'll add that. And then a little bit more of her services to Krishna and Radharani actually includes doing Radharani's hair. She's the expert that braids Radharani's hair, and then she also does the decoration of her eyes. Pretty service that she does, really. Yeah, and then yeah, I'll let you carry on a bit,
Yes,
and then
absolutely.
yes.
She is Radharani's hairdresser. She's expert at decorating and plaiting Radharani's long braid. And so she's the one who will put the flowers and the beads and the this and the that and the bows and make it look so exquisite. She's also Radharani's masseuse. She gives Radharani massages. She's also Radharani's makeup artist, like you mentioned, putting all these beautiful things just to make Radharani even more effulgent than what she is. Um, so yeah, she's just amazing. She has so much service. She's also expert besides at teaching the birds. I think a lot of people know this, at teaching the birds how to sing and speaking to the birds. But one of the things is that she's really expert at training parrots to send messages between the divine couple. So she has trained them so that throughout the day the divine couple can have communication, and so the divine couple are communicating via these parrots. So, and she trains the parrots to do that for the divine couple. Also, she's expert. And this is something that I had to sit back and say, this is exactly why this information is sacred, and I'm limited in my understanding. But as Maharaj is mentioning, he makes it go deeper. So you first learn about this information, what I'm going to tell you, in the Srimad Bhagavatam 10, 48, verses 35 and 36, where it says, she trains the parrots and the roosters to fight. That she's the one who organizes fights, or we'd say she's a pot stirrer in our colloquial language. But what she does is that she's expert at organizing friction within the different parties of Vrindavan. And the reason for that is that it is this friction that allows for the sweetness of the mellows of Vrindavan, because they can resolve these disagreements, these fights, so to speak, this friction that happens, and she arranges it. And so they come, so there's always something happening because she's always arranging some kind of friction, either between the birds, the roosters, different parties of Vrindavan. That's her service. And so, like I said, if you don't understand, if you read it from the Srimad Bhagavatam, it's like she organizes fights, and you're thinking, what kind of person is this? Then you won't understand the sweetness of it. It's to deepen that love. We see so many times this rivalry between the gopis and the gopas, and at the end of it, you're just sitting there thinking, wow, how sweet, all these pastimes that are just resolved so beautifully. How would you even get that level of sweetness if you don't understand and not see past the superficiality of what is being written? And also maybe just a jab at English, at being a language that is so limited that we can't even use any other word except for the word fight, so just a little jab. I'm kidding.
Sorry, Nomsa.
Sure.
What type of moods is Sudevi having?
Like
Do you have
all the
anything on
other,
that?
not really. I will be perfectly honest. I don't know, but I will assume, um, by saying she has the similar mood to that of the other Astasakis, which is service, a service attitude towards Radha and Krishna. But her personal mood, I didn't come across that.
She's a gentle one. Yeah, she's a very gentle type of a character and very reserved, and yeah. So, okay.
Oh, I didn't know that. But as I was reading, I'm sure it suits her because her sister is very boisterous. The sister's,
And
the one who
the
takes
age, do you
charge.
know what age she's at?
So they are eternally 14 years and 7 months and a couple of days. I'm not sure about the days, but 14 years and 7 months. And they are 7 days younger than Radharani. So they're born 7 days after they appear 7 days after the appearance of Radharani.
Continue. And then
Okay.
waiting for those pastimes.
We are getting there. We're still building it up. So I mentioned that she causes all this friction between the birds, the demigods, and the divine couple, and all these arguments that are resolved, deepen the sweetness and increase the love of everyone in Braj. Um, so what a beautiful thing. She's also an expert linguist, In today's world, we'll say she's a linguist, but she said that she's a scholar in the language of the birds. So there are thousands and thousands of birds, beautiful birds, in Vrindavan that would create that atmosphere of just sweetness. And there's always some music coming from the birds, the chirping of the birds, the singing of the birds. And she's expert in understanding the birds. Of course, we know that the birds in Vrindavan are not ordinary birds. They self-realized souls. So there's that element that she is expert in speaking and communicating to the birds and teaching them how to sing and being harmonious and creating a beautiful atmosphere within Vrindavan. And so she takes care of the birds and the bees. And that's also something that we learn from Srimad Bhagavatam. It is said that she's so potent in her service to Radha and Krishna that she controls the climate in Vrindavan. So she controls the time imagine she controls the time the sun rises, the time the sun sets. She controls whether it will rain, whether it'll be hot. She's responsible for that service. And so yeah, that is how powerful she is. Um, and she gives her special powers of forgiving pleasure to the divine couple. So that's her main focus. That is her main meditation. She also, and this is something everyone always talks about, she also has a special group of manjaris or maidservants, young girls who she sends to go, that she trains, and she sends to go and spy on Chandavali, who is the main rival of Radharani. So she sends them out into Braj to go and find out the secrets of Chandravali and come back and give her that information, and she'll give it to Radharani. And sometimes, as we learn in the Srimad Bhagavatam, she herself takes on a disguise, and she also spies on Chandravali and tries to find some of those secrets about when she'll be meeting with who and what she's doing, and she gives that back to Radharani. So she's definitely a type of pot stirrer in our colloquial language. Um, like the other Asthasakhis, or rather, Rangadevi and Sudevi also have kunjas around Radharani's bathing place, so Radhakund. So they all serve Radharani around Radhakund. So Sudevi has her kunja and the northwest of Radharani's Radhakund.
Pastimes,
And
Nomsa, pastimes.
we're getting there. We're getting there. One more thing. Her favorite color is green, right? So we see her kunja is decorated with green emeralds, beautiful green emeralds. And this is where I'm getting, because this is a pastime, right?
Okay. I don't
Yeah,
want them cutting off your
I
beautiful
promise you.
nectar. I don't want your beautiful nectar being cut off. That's all.
Okay, no
We
problem.
have 20.
We have 120 minutes. Okay,
Yeah.
quick.
Actually 10, sorry.
10 minutes.
See?
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying
She's an expert
pastimes.
artist. She's
Yeah.
expert at agriculture and science of planting different plants and growing different plants, at chanting certain mantras, at creating decorative instruments like conches. And in her kunja, this emerald green kunja, it is studded from the pavilion to the what is it, the platforms with emerald green what is it called, diamonds and pearls and things. It just everything that is beautiful and green. So that's the color of her kunja. And so in this particular kunja, we have the pastime of, I'm sure you've heard of this, that Krishna loves to play dice, game of dice. And in Vrindavan it's called Pashakila. Pashakila, so that's dice. And so there's a pastime wherein Madhumangal convinces Krishna that
my favorite one.
That this Radharani, she always wins at Pashakela because we're playing in her gopis kunja. We are always playing a Pashakela at Sudevi's kunja. And that's why she wins. There's a special potency that allows her to win. And she's got an upper hand against you. So, what if we organize our own game of Pashakela at a different place? And that way you can beat Radharani at a game of Pashakela. And so Krishna's like, oh, okay, we can do that. We can do that. And then she proposes it to Radharani and the gopis, and they say, sure, It is mentioned that Krishna, similar to Maharaj Yudhisthira, is very attached to playing dice, but he's not the most skilled, So Radharani always wins. Majority of the time, Radharani is the winner. And so they go, so the Gopas, led by Madhumangal, go to a place called Vidagda Grove, Vidagda Kunja, and they set up and they organize all the logistics, and Radharani and her Sakhis come and they get ready to play Pashakela. But what they missed in all of this is that Radharani is the goddess of victory. We hear that from the acharyas, that Radharani is the goddess of victory, and she's unaffected by the movement of the planets, by Vastu. So she's unaffected by the elements. She's unaffected by Vastu, unaffected by the movement of the planets. So either way, she is the queen of victory. She's goddess of victory. So they get to Vidagda Grove and they engage the Gopas. They play this game of Pashakela, of dice, and Radharani wins. And they are shocked, like, oh, how did that happen? But of course, we understand that Radharani is the goddess of victory. And it has nothing to do with the fact that they are playing Pashakela in Sudevi's kunja. It's just, Radharani and who she is. So yeah, she's Jaishri, goddess of victory, Vrindavaneshwari. And then we get into another pastime, the Brajman Lila. This is the Lila where Radharani gets very upset with Krishna and manifests her anger towards Krishna. So one day, Krishna and Madhumangal up to no good, as usual. And next and Sudevi and Rangadevi are off to sell makan, butter, at a nearby village.
That's actually their trade.
That's their trade. Yes.
Yeah. Krishna likes to mess with them there and there.
Exactly. So their trade is in makan, this butter. And every time they pass by, Krishna has this pastime of his Dana Keli, or Dan Keli, which is playful text. So Dan is text and Keli is playful. So Krishna is folded arms, and Madhumangal as well on the other side with folded arms, as Sudevi and Rangadevi are walking by. Yeah. And Krishna says, stop. Text. This is my grandfather.
Text. Where's the text?
he stops them and says, this is my grandfather's road. He built it himself. And so it means it's my road. You have to pay tax to me. Pay up. And because this happens so often, Rangadevi and Sudevi are so annoyed. They're so over it. They don't want to, engage in this way with Krishna on this particular day and with Madhumangal. And they're just like, no, we're not paying tax. And Krishna's insists, no, this is my grandfather's road. You must pay tax. And they say no. And so what does Krishna do? He breaks the clay pot with the
butter pot breaker.
The butter pot, yeah, the clay butter pot, the clay pot filled with butter, and the butter splashes all over Sudevi and Rangadevi. You can imagine you're all dressed up, ready to go to wherever you're going, selling your butter, you know. And
they make a plan to deal with him.
Yes,
they go to Radharani.
So upset, like, because this has happened so many times. They're so upset. They're covered in butter. Madhu Mangal and Krishna are laughing and eating the remnants of that butter. And so they run to Radharani. And then she's like, Sakhis, what's wrong? And so they explain, you Krishna and Madhu Mangal, they wanted some dhan from us. They wanted some tax from us. And we didn't give them, of course. And so they broke our pots of butter. Yeah. And so she's like, but what can I do about it? Like, there's nothing I can do. Why don't you, go to the authorities? It's like, we've already gone to Krishna's mother Yashoda, and she's blinded by her motherly affection, and so she just doesn't do anything about it. We then went to Nanda Baba, and he just finds it so funny. It's so humorous. Yeah. And we went to Balaram, and Krishna and Balaram are the same, so he doesn't see anything wrong with that. And we then went to Mother Rohini, and she just found faults in everything we said. Everything we'd say, she'd have an answer to. So of course we've come to you. And she says, to me? If you've gone to such senior and exalted souls, why come to me? And they mention, because only you can control Krishna. Imagine, only you can control Krishna. Yeah. And then they mention like the different ways in which different animals are controlled and different elements are controlled, and only Radharani can control Krishna. And so Radharani,
what did she do?
Yes, getting there. So Radharani gets really upset, and she's like, "Oh shit, Krishna. The next time he comes here, I just won't speak to him. I will not talk to Krishna. I will just, this is my last time." But we've heard her say this so many times in different occasions. She says, "I just won't talk to him. This is the last time. I've had it with him. I'm not talking to Krishna." And so Krishna appears. He comes. Yeah. Radharani, it's me, Krishna. And Radharani is hiding. She finds a hiding spot. As soon as she realizes that Krishna has entered the palace, she hides. And so Krishna says, "It's me." And she's like, "Who are you?" It's like, "Krishna." And then Radharani is like, "Krishna?" Another name for Krishna is Madhusudana, which means bumblebee. So bumblebee, can you please go to the
Go pass.
And then Krishna's like, "Don't play riddles with me. It's me, your Gopal." Gopal? That means cow herd. Your cows. So please go herd your cows. Mm-hmm. And then Krishna's now getting frustrated. Radharani, it's me. Janasham. Uh-huh. And then Radharani is like, Janasham, that's a rain cloud, a very dark rain cloud. Yeah. So Janasham, could you please go and feed the thirst of the fields with your water? And Krishna is now frustrated. And he says, "Oh Priya, what have I done to wrong you? Yeah. What offense have I committed to your lotus feet?" Yes. And then Radharani remains silent. This hasn't happened before. Mm-hmm. So there's a change. The mood has changed now. And so Krishna understood that Radharani is upset. Yeah. Radharani has been really.
How does our twin feel now that this is happening? Because it's their doing also.
Yeah, so they're watching everything, because after they ran to Krishna, after they ran from that incident with Krishna and Madhu Mangal, they're obviously seeing what's happening, and so Krishna then leaves. He says, okay, he realizes that he's upset Radharani and she's upset, and the only way to pacify this anger that she has manifest is by separation. Separation makes the heart grow fonder. So he leaves, and that's his plan. Like, if I leave, she'll come running back. So he leaves, and Radharani starts crying almost immediately. Not even a long time passes, just a few moments. It is mentioned in the Vedas that just a few moments pass and she starts to weep. And she falls in and out of consciousness, just in like heartache. And as she's falling, she says, I will never, ever, ever again manifest this man, this anger towards Krishna. And then, the sisters are looking at each other. Sudevi looks at Rangadevi, Rangadevi looks at Sudevi, and they think, what are we, what are we going to do? Of course, they think is that they're always trying to serve the divine couple. So they're trying to figure out what are they going to do. So they follow Krishna. They find Krishna sitting at the bank of the Yamuna, throwing pebbles into the Yamuna. And we get that from the Vrindavan Research Institute, this particular information. And he's throwing.
And then from this pastime, the twins now have to worry about how to put the couple back together.
Yes.
And so now Krishna is crying, he's all of this.
Yes, he's also crying.
He's all of this.
It's like a movie.
Sudevi has to organize that now. How do we get them right? So I suppose it's special being a gopi, to be honest. It's just things that we can't even comprehend, we can only relish the beauty that this exalted soul had an opportunity to be a part and parcel of in the past times. So are you going to tell me another one, or have you got more of other things to share about Sudevi?
No, I'm just going to finish this pastime because it ends. It's such a beautiful ending, always a happy ending. Also, I'm conscious of the time, so I'll just quickly go past what happens because I'm conscious. And apologies to anyone, to everyone for that, because it is sweet, but it is quite long. So from there, they speak to Krishna, and Rangadevi approaches Krishna because, like I said, she's the more boisterous sister. Sudevi is the more, like you said, more calm, more gentle sister. And he says, Krishna, why are you upset? Did your parents chastise you? And he says, no. Did you get into a fight with Balaram? He says, no. Have you lost something perhaps? And he cries, I've lost my everything. I've lost my Radharani. She's so upset with me. And so they look at each other and they just have to, and then they try to devise a plan, and they talk about the potency of the gopis, like, how they arrange things, how they can bind an elephant with just the segment of a lotus flower. Can you imagine the softest part of lotus flower? They can bind an elephant with that. So Rangadevi and Sudevi are mentioning the potency of the gopis and say, we can get you back together. And Krishna mentions that she's in her man. She's in her man. I don't think I can get her back this time. This time I really blew it. And they're like, no, we can try. And their hearts are so broken, their hearts are like, they can't believe what has happened. They were just upset a moment ago that Krishna had broken their pots of butter, and now they're feeling so sorry for him, and say, no, don't worry, stay here. We'll bring. Pardon?
I'm saying now the couple is not together.
Yeah, now they can't.
Happy. Things are not
no
happening.
one is happy.
They must fix the situation now.
Exactly. So they quickly go back to Radharani, and they speak to her, and they say, Radharani, we can go back to, we know where Krishna is, we can go to him. And she's like, no, but what if someone sees me? That will be so terrible for my reputation. And they're like, no, we'll cover you. And this is now we hear from Sudevi for the first time in this pastime, speaking out loudly. And she says it 3 times. Don't worry. She says, don't worry. We will cover you with your shadow will cover you in the darkness. And she says, and I've filled your ankle bells with the dust of Raja, so they won't make noise as you walk. Can you imagine? That's how far ahead they're thinking. That's how much they serve. Like, they think ahead for the divine couple. So she says, I filled your ankle bells with the dust of Raja, so no one will even hear you. And then she says, and then Rangadevi will walk before us with the lamp of separation. I don't know what a lamp of separation is, but I can only imagine. She'll walk with a lamp of separation, and she will guide the way. Don't worry, don't worry. And so they get to Krishna, and the divine couple is reunited.
And then the twins are happy.
They are very happy.
And all
And
is
because
well now.
all is
And
well, and because Sudevi is trained in passing messages with using the parrots take the message to all the other Astasakis, and they tell them what has happened, what went down, and that don't worry though, they're happy, and their hearts are filled with love and joy for the divine couple. They can't believe it. Their hearts and their joy and their love for the divine couple, it said no bounds. Like they can't even contain that joy that they've heard the message from the parrots. So nothing goes unseen in Vrindavan. The parrots are also looking and ready to let
yes.
everyone else know. So yeah, that's how that pastime goes on. But everything is then restored back to normal. The divine couple is happy again. So yeah,
Oh, so
Devi,
beautiful.
very
So
beautiful.
how do we now as Vaishnavis trying to serve um kind of like absorb slight understanding of who Sudevi, Rangadevi, all the gopis would be, and in trying to serve Srila Prabhupada, kind of like remember what is it all about, because it's just all about making it work for the divine couple. So we also need to see how when we relate and look at other Vaishnavis that Nomsa has been serving Srila Prabhupada so beautifully. What is it that I can do to make her services much more pleasant and grow and other things? So, do you have anybody at all that inspires you as a Vaishnavi in savers and the reasons that you feel that, and you kind of like think about the gopis and say, I've got some bit of gopi in this one, and would you like to share that with us?
You want specifically Vaishnavis?
If you have a Vaishnavi that you feel so about and
Okay.
you want
Oh
to
no,
share that,
I have plenty of
I mean,
Vaishnavis that I
yeah.
that I feel that way about. Um, there's a lecture in which Srila Prabhupada mentions that the gopis are there to teach us how to serve and love God. They are manifest for that purpose. And I think that the Vaishnavis that I serve around and that I see are really um, imbibing that mood. So one of the Vaishnavis is Mother Prajalila. She does so much. She's all over doing so much. And one of the biggest things that she's taught me is the culture of appreciation. Besides nonviolent communication, like she her workshops are all about nonviolent communication, compassionate communication, hearing people out before you make an assumption, and asking questions that are relevant so that you don't jump into conclusions, that you are able to communicate peacefully, amicably with Vaishnavas. And that's something that, is holding very dear to Srila Prabhupada's instruction, what he said, you cooperating with each other would make me very happy. And so nonviolent communication feeds perfectly into that instruction that Srila Prabhupada gave us. But one thing that I noticed about the gopis and how they interact with each other and how they interact with the divine couple is that they have a culture of appreciation. And this is something that Mother Virgilila is really good at. She'll throw you into the deep end and say, do the
Yeah,
service, and you're thinking, I can't do that. I could never do
yeah.
that. Like there was a time where we had hosted for Kartik one year, we had all of Srila Prabhupada's a lot of Srila Prabhupada's daughters come and share at the Vaishnavi Sanghas.
Our time
And
is up.
okay, we can go
Time
on a
is
little
up.
bit more.
So just wrap it slightly nicely. And before that, I also want you to know that you are my Sudevi in your special way. Because
Oh,
where you
thank you.
are, to be honest, as a Vaishnavi that's not yet received her initiation, your service to Srila Prabhupada for me carries some modes of this wonderful devotees, that positivity, that appreciation you always say, checking on other Vaishnavis and just making it pleasant for them to be in this mission and serving Srila Prabhupada. So Nomsa Devi, wrap up for me, please. And thank you so much. I wouldn't have interviewed anyone to give this as much as you did and as best as you did. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. Are you one of the Vaishnavis that also inspire me? Manu Kanya is also another Vaishnavi that inspires me. And there's so many. There's so many from the top of my head. There's Leela Kashuri. Ooh, oh my word. Sangeeta Priya, Deepa. Yeah. Wow, I can't, there's too many. And I'm sorry if I didn't mention you, because there's so many of these Vaishnavis that really just touch my heart and have been so dear to me. Banumati, Karunika, and all of them have a very special part. Like you're saying, this culture of appreciation is something that we see. You know, when we appreciate devotees, we encourage them also to engage more in service. When you see someone do something lovely, praise them, give them that appreciation, and show them that they're doing well. Like yourself, you do so much service, and you're so expert at it. You're so excellent at it. And you do it with a happy heart. That's another thing, that service done with a happy heart, with a smile, is the best kind of service. And spontaneous service as well, you know, which is the topmost type of service. So I really appreciate that about you. And we can learn a lot from Sudevi. We can learn a lot from all these gopis and all the Astasakis, and just how to risk it all for the service of Krishna. Just risk it all for the service of Krishna. That's it. And with a happy heart, all their waking days are for the service of the divine couple. And we can also do the same in our small ways. Of course, everyone has got a busy, you know, schedule and a busy timetable, but also engage your own personality. Don't try to be like someone else. I think that's a mistake that sometimes as Vaishnavis we make when we get there. Like you were mentioning, when you get into a particular service, of course you want to do it right and do it how other people are doing it, but never forget your own individuality. A lot of us completely think that, oh my God, I have this kind of personality, or I do this, it won't dovetail your personality to the service of Krishna. Krishna has given you that particular personality and those particular talents and skills so that you can serve him individually in your own way. So make sure that you dig deep into that and tap into that and use that. And I think all the Vaishnavis that I've mentioned, and the many other Vaishnavis who I really appreciate, have that as a quality, that they are authentic. They're very authentic to themselves. They give their best. They are themselves, and so you won't get tired if you're you. See, if you're acting, you have to take the mask off at some point, and then you're tired. But if you're yourself and you're authentic, there's no mask to remove. You are at home within yourself. And you know, when you're at home, you're leisurely. But when you're out in the world, you have to, be a certain way, and but you don't have that when you're at home. You're at ease. And so please be at ease in your service.
Thank you so much. I really love you, Nomsa.
I love you too. Thank you. 10 years of knowing you, and you always dragging me into some sort of service.
There's a lot you're going to do for ISKCON, just on the basis of yourself being Nomsa, and continue and be inspired and be yourself and really serve with a happy heart. That's a very important thing, to be honest. We mustn't feel obliged, or you know what I'm saying. We must really want to do these services, look forward to doing them, and be happy. And I hope that Devon will be very satisfied with this interview, even though you are just Nomsa, not like a 38-year-old servant of Krishna that dropped me for the interview, and you stepping out and making it the best that Nomsa is capable of. So Sudevi ki
Jai.
Radharani ki
Jai.
Jai. Nomsa Devi ki
Jai. Esther ki Jai. Vrindavaneshwari. Hare. Thank you so much for engaging me. I really appreciate it. And thank you, dear devotees, for listening. If I've committed any offenses, please forgive me. And yeah, thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,